G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to take you guys through perhaps the most beneficial way of stretching that you'll probably ever come across. It's called Proprioceptive Neuromuscular Facilitation, or a lot of people tend to know it by PNF, or contract relax stretching, or hold relax stretching. It's not necessarily a new technique, it's been around for 10 or 15 years at least, but for some reason it hasn't really made its way through to the general public. It's not common knowledge. But it really is the only way that you should be stretching, because it has a capacity and an ability to instantly make you more flexible than what you were before the stretch. It doesn't take away your tightness entirely, but it genuinely chips away at some of that restriction straight away. Whereas I think the complaint that a lot of people have with general stretching techniques these days is not only are they boring, but we never really get to a point where you feel like you don't have to do it anymore. And a lot of people are sort of left stuck in this ritual or this perpetual cycle of stretching a muscle, getting tight, stretching the muscle again, tightening back up again, like I said, without ever getting to the point where they're making genuine progress, or at least immediate progress in a short amount of time. So with this PNF model, it's very, very simple, and it's a really, really powerful way to make actual gains to your flexibility straight away, without any gimmicks, without promising anything. It's almost impossible not to make progress. So I think it's really, really important that we get this across, because the traditional model of just static stretching, where you just hold a stretch for 30 seconds or 15 seconds or whatever you want to do, it really doesn't work, or at least it doesn't do what we want it to do or have expected it to do over so many years. And particularly when you sort of measure it up against the PNF model, static stretching versus PNF, you can statically stretch one calf muscle, then PNF stretch the other calf muscle. You'll see an immediate difference in terms of how much progress you can make with the PNF model versus the static stretching model. So as always, we want to base these ideas on results. We want to base these ideas on things that work. And as always, if you do go on to enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like below. Let me know in the comments below sort of what your relationship is to PNF stretching and static stretching. Are you one of those people that doesn't really stretch that much because you're a bit disheartened or a bit disillusioned with the stretching model as it is currently? Are you someone who's already been PNF stretching for years? Let me know, how those success stories are going down below. And as always, if you do enjoy this content, if you want to learn more about, things that we find work really well clinically, conversations that I have with patients in real time, I want to relay that information to you guys. Because my philosophy is that if one person is sort of experiencing one particular issue, there's every chance that there's a bunch of other people out there that are going through the same issue, whether they realize it or not, and would benefit from these same conversations. So if you're someone who wants to jump on board, please consider subscribing to the channel, and please share these videos if you can, just so that they can sort of get out to more people, and more people can sort of learn and better understand how their body works and how to better improve their quality of life, based on the things that we're sort of finding clinically. So with that being said, I appreciate any support. So we want to get into it. So basically the PNF model, this proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation model, the nitty gritty of it, the essence of it, is that it uses your brain and your nervous system, as well as the muscular system, that neuromuscular junction. I guess the static model fails in a lot of ways because it almost assumes that our muscles are just a piece of meat, that they're this lifeless piece of meat, this elastic piece of meat that needs to be stretched and sort of held in a stretched position in order for it to give. But the static stretching model really neglects the presence of the brain and the nervous system and their control over muscle tightness. Now, what a lot of people don't realize about muscle tightness is often a consequence of something that your brain is asking you to do. So if your calf muscle is tight, if your hamstring muscle is tight, it's not bad luck. It's not that you were born that way, often far from it, but it's more so that some things have conspired against you that have asked your brain and nervous system to increase the tension or sort of limit the range of motion of that area, to help support something, to help protect something, or as a consequence of a lack of motion or a lack of movement in our lives. So for a lot of hamstrings and hip muscles, they get tight because we sit a lot and we don't express that full range of motions through the joints. So over time, your body realizes that you don't necessarily care as much about that. So it sort of pulls that resource, or pulls the resources from that, makes it tighter, to help sort of reflect what you're asking it to do unknowingly. A lot of hamstring tightness is a consequence of lower back dysfunction. where if you're losing a little bit of low back stability or you're a little bit stiff through your lower back, your body recruits your hamstrings in the way of sort of tightening them up to increase the amount of stability around the nerves, the hips and the lower back, to compensate for a lack of that muscular stuff through your trunk. So I think it's really important to understand that any muscular tightness is often there for a reason. Whether that reason is the one that you want or not is a different story, but there's often a noble reason for why that's there. So for example, if your hamstring is tight because your body is trying to help support and stabilize your pelvis, your hips and your trunk, then just tugging on that muscle consistently, or probably more realistically, doing a hamstring stretch consistently isn't necessarily going to change anything long term, because it can't. A, it's not taking away the reason for why that muscle's tight in the first place, but B, it's not necessarily sort of engaging the brain and the nervous system in a way that needs to be engaged to make that change. So I'll show you in terms of the hamstring and maybe the wrist flexor as well, because a lot of people the forearm muscles tend to be quite tight in a lot of people, as are hamstrings. So hopefully I can highlight what this sort of PNF model can do to both those areas in a second. But essentially what it is, so just to give you guys a quick visual here. So for me, if I straighten my elbow and then bend my wrist back, I don't have amazing wrist flexibility. It's not terrible. I can sort of get to 90 degrees. You can see that they're about 90 degrees. I can feel a lot of tightness in here. Now, if I just hold this, I'm directly tugging against that muscular tightness. And again, if I did this all day, every day, you might find eventually that tissue would start to give and release over time, but it's not good enough for most people day to day. So if I were to do this again, it might feel a fraction looser maybe, but then it may tighten back up again, and then I'm left doing the same thing over and over again. So the PNF model, this contract relax model of stretching, is basically as follows. So all you want to do, and again, take note of where I'm at range of motion wise here. I'm trying to get my thumb out the way so you can see. This is as far as I can go. So the model basically dictates that you put a tissue under stretch. So for me, I can feel a great stretch through this sort of forearm flexor area. And all you need to do is create tension through that tight muscle. So hopefully you can see this if I twist my arm. So I'm going to squeeze my forearm muscles. I'm going to tense them up for about 5 to 10 seconds. If you're struggling to actively isolate these muscles and tense those muscles on their own, a really neat trick is to push back against the stretch. So essentially I'm going to push my fingers and my wrist back into the hand that's holding me in that position to force those muscles to activate. So I want to hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds. This gets my brain involved. And what we know is that maximal contraction is often followed by maximal relaxation, sort of a reflexive response the body has. So when I relax that, so we're going to keep the tension on the stretch, but I go from tensing to not tensing. Then as soon as that happens, I should be able to then take my wrist back a little bit further than I could before. And hopefully you can see that that's actually happening. So again, we want to keep repeating this process until we stop feeling like we're making change. So again, I want to take a strong tense of those muscles, push my fingers and my wrist back into the hand that's holding me there, hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. And in some cases, you'll actually feel the muscles start to pull apart or relax in a really positive way. And then when I stop tensing again, I can then take my wrist back further again. And again, it exposes a whole bunch of other tightness that I didn't feel previously. I want to give it a good tense again, hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. Again, let that tissue give. And then when I relax again, I can go further again. So again, hopefully you can see this. And even if you want to rewind the video so you can sort of compare the two positions here, it automatically feels like I have more flexibility through my wrist area. So this one feels like it feels normal for me, but this one feels extra flexible than this side does. So please do that yourself, because you'll be amazed at how more flexible it feels immediately. Again, you shouldn't have to wait. You don't have to take my word for it, but please hold me to that. If you do this PNF model and you don't immediately feel looser in the area that you were stretching, you weren't doing something correctly. It's basically your given right to feel better from doing this. So it goes without saying that this model of stretching is brilliant to do before activity. So if you want to decrease your risk of injury by improving your tissue mobility, improving your joint range of motion, improving your mechanics as a whole, it's fantastic to do before any activity. So if you're about to do some weights, I'd recommend that you do this stretch to any of the muscles that you're about to exercise. If you're running, do it through a lot of the leg muscles that you do. You don't have to change the type of stretching that you do. So if you prefer a certain hamstring stretch or a certain calf stretch or a certain glute stretch, feel free to do them. All you need to, I guess, alter in that model is that you're tensing or pushing back against the stretch. Anything you can do to tense up the muscle that you're stretching and potentially the ones around it as well will actively ask that muscle to give in a very short amount of time. So again, similar sort of thing here with a hamstring stretch. So just to sort of connect the dots with this one. So for a lot of people, maybe we'll do this one. If you can hopefully see this, make sure I'm somewhat in camera here. So again, I want to keep my trunk nice and straight here and just hinge forward from my hips so my hamstring feels the tension. But again, it doesn't matter how you stretch your hamstring. You can do it standing with your leg up on something. Obviously the camera's down low here, so we'll do it on the floor. But the idea here is that if I keep my trunk upright and just hinge forward through my hips, this is as far as I feel I can go into the stretch, and I feel it all through these hamstrings. Now, what I want to do here is I want to lean forward. I feel the tension at the back of my leg. It's probably a story for another video. We might make the next one on this topic, but as an aside, if you feel like you're stretching your hamstring and you feel some tightness at the back of your knee, that isn't hamstring tightness, that's sciatic nerve tightness. So that tells us that your back is stiff, as does a lot of hamstring dysfunction anyway. So if you're trying to stretch your hamstring, you should always feel it in the hamstring muscle itself and not behind the knee. So if you do find that you bend forward and it's all knee, then just bend your knee a little bit and hinge forward further, and you'll feel it more in that hamstring. So for me, if I'm to feel some tightness just here, again, all I want to do here is squeeze that hamstring. I can push my heel into the ground. I can tense up my hamstring, squeeze my glutes, hold it for sort of 5 to 10 seconds, and then relax. And then I should be able to go a fraction further. Again, remember, I'm not bending from my back because that's cheating. I'm imagining that there's a rod through my hips and I'm just rotating over those hips, trying to keep my back straight. Tense that hamstring again, hold it for sort of 5 to 10 seconds, tense everything around it, push my heel back into the ground, whatever I need to do to make that muscle tense. And then when I stop tensing, again, I can go further forward again. So I'm going to squeeze again, squeeze the muscle, keep it tight. Again, you can coordinate your breathing as well. So you can take a deep breath in, give that muscle a squeeze, and then as you breathe out, you can release and you can encourage that to go further straight away. So again, just having done that, again, I don't know if you can see this, but my ability to get to I'm trying to get back straight. My ability to get to my left hamstring is sort of here, keeping my hips straight, keep my back straight, sorry. But then if I do the same thing through this leg, all of a sudden, I feel like I can get further again. So again, if you don't see immediate change, then something hasn't happened correctly. So just make sure that you feel that. So in summary, statically holding a stretch doesn't work, or it doesn't work in the way that we've expected it to, or that we deserve it to if we're putting all this time and energy into stretching. And I think stretching gets a bad name because a lot of people don't like stretching, a lot of people don't think it's worthwhile, not because it isn't worthwhile, but because the way that they're going about it doesn't get the results that they deserve. So if we can switch the static stretching where you just hold the stretch for 30 seconds and hope something changes, we can switch that out for a model which actively tenses and activates the muscles that are tight, gets your brain and nervous system involved, actively asks those tissues to release, then obviously we're going to have a much better thought pattern or thought process around stretching. We're going to get more immediate results. We're going to have less injuries that are related to those restrictions. And ultimately we can get to a point eventually where you don't feel like you have to stretch anymore. And again, I'll link to a video up here where we want to make sure that not only are you stretching the tissue that's tight, but we also need to have another conversation about why those tissues are tight in the first place. And if we're doing all this great PNF stretching, but we're not addressing the cause of that tightness in the first place, remember the hamstring can be back related, calves can be back related or ankle related, whatever it might be. We covered it in this video that we've done previously. We need to match up a really powerful, fast-acting stretching technique with perspective on why it's tight in the first place if we're truly going to get to a point where we don't have to stretch anymore. So as always, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it or you found it useful. Please consider sharing the video to anyone that you think might find this useful or interesting. And above all else, please consider subscribing, joining the journey with me. and we'll see where we can take it. But until then, until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.